Hi everybody, welcome back to Racing Previews and Reviews with me, Mark Fanning. First of all, we're going to take a look at yesterday's action at Newmarket. Our first selection was Family Ties for the David O'Mara Yard. Very well supported all the day. But again, as these 2-year-olds, you just don't know till they put it on the track. Finished fifth, but I would keep an eye on that the next day again. Missed a kick and ran a bit green, but Danny Tulloch was never going to be hard on her then. So disappointing start to the first race, but our second race, Gale Force Maya, our selection got up by held on, should I say, by a short nose. It was a nose. It was a long time. The photo was a long time. I was going to take a dead heat. We were on a 6-1, ended up 11-2. Michael Dodds' filly. She's super consistent. This filly. Connor Beasley shown again. He's a very good rider. So I was delighted to get that selection up in the second race. Then we went to the third race. It was the listed handicap, and our selection for Richard Hannon was very well supported again. Ryan Moore in the saddle. Ran a bit keen, I thought. Finished second, beating a length and a quarter, but still more to come from that Tarek Bay. Keep an eye on him, but new science Charlie Appleby bolted away. William Buick with a fantastic day. Super rider, super trainer, and our selection was second in that race. Then we went to the 7Races Stakes and Master of the Seas. We advised. He was about 6-4, and we said it ended up 5-4. William Buick and Charlie Appleby absolutely hosed up, travelled well, and kicked off. It was sweet on him, Master of the Seas. So I'm delighted that we got another winner on the day. Then we went to the Neil Gwynn Stakes, and I went with Hello You to reverse Catchett's form in America. But Catchett, George Boy, William Buick again, who was riding out of his skin combined, absolutely hosed up. Two and a half length winner of the Group 3. Neil Gwynn Stakes. Then we had a fillies Maiden and John and Teddy Gosling's Cranelli. I opposing, but very well supported out today. Got the job done by a neck going down, beating Kevin Ryan's Frontier back in second. Our selections in this race, we had a win in each way selection, were a bit disappointing. So that thanks Monica from Ralph Beckett's very disappointed with her. Thought she'd run better than that. And then we finished out with handicap. I didn't really preview this race, but William Haggis combined with Tom Marquand in the colours of the Queen with Educator there. A very gutsy win, and held on by a nose, beating Ralph Beckett's high fiver back in second. But that was day one of the Craven meeting, where it was all about the fillies. Now it's going to be all about the Colts, with the Craven being the feature race off at 3:35. But before all that, I'm going to preview race number one. It's a 7 Fourlands fillies Maiden. We've got 9 runners lined up here, and Roger Varian's Emmy Thin is going to take a hell of a bit of a beating here, coming back from her only run last year where she finished second. The one that beat her that day was 2 from 2 going into yesterday. She ran yesterday a bit disappointing, but she franked her form of beating Emita over the course and distance last October by winning already this year. I think it was Marco Botti who had the winner. But I think this Amita with David Egan, who's an absolute sensation of a rider. I know I say that a lot about some of these young riders, but there's a lot of good young riders coming through, and this is one of them, David Egan. So I expect this daughter of Exceed and Excel to get the job done in the first. Then we go to a 3-year-old only handicap. It's over 6 furlongs, and I'm going to go with an each-way player here, Dig 2 for Hugo Palmer with James Dial in the saddle. Biosports are playing an extra place in this race. There's 4 places, so I expect it to be definitely in the top 4 and hopefully get the job done. He won his maiden over 5 furlongs here, and then won a novice over 6 when he stepped up to 6. He was second of 27 in the Windsor Castle at Royal Ascot, and then he disappointed a little bit in Group 2. He's been gelded and had a wind up over the winter. Hugo hasn't had many runners, but he has a 33 strike percent rate, 1 out of 3 in the last 14 days, so they can win. So Dig 2, this Kotai gelded now, son of Kotai Glory even. He gets my vote here each way in the second. That brings us to another maiden. It's for 3-year-olds only this time, and none of these have had a run. There's 13 runners lined up here. There's 2 that catch my eye each way. I'm going to wait and see what they look like in the paddock. IMC for William Haggis with Tom Mark 1. Very well bred. This stable has won this race a couple of times in the past 10 years. I like this pedigree, IMC. Obviously by Sea the Stars. He will get my I'll be looking at him in the paddock and see what way he's behaving. He's actually been gelded, so I'd imagine he'll be mature, if that's the word I should use there. I'd be hoping he'd be mature for being gelded in the parade ring. And then one down the bottom there, obviously one of the fillies, Ralph Beckett, who does super with these fillies, Sweet Fantasy, another one that I liked with her pedigree by Willem Bassett, Rob Hornby, who's combined very well with Ralph Beckett last year. Those two at each way prices for me. But again, I will wait to see what they look like and how they behave in the prelims. Then we go to the first group race of the day. It is the Alberta Stakes. It's Group 3. It's over 6 furlongs. And look, Hugo Palmer here again, Ebo River. He's the only Group 1 winner in the field. He won the Phoenix Stakes as a juvenile last year. And I think if he comes back to anywhere near that form, he's going to be the one to beat here. By Galileo Gold, who again Hugo trained. Jamie Spencer, very eye-catching booking in the saddle. Jamie's been riding out of his skin lately. He's a super rider anyway. But this horse, he won a listed race here over 7. Oh no, sorry. That's my other one. I'm going to just say could run well. But no, Ebo River here, he's the only Group 1. He's super form last year. Comes back anywhere near to that, I think. He's a 3-year-old allowance, so he's actually getting weight. So he's only carrying 8-9. So for me, he's got all the positives here to get back to winning ways in Group 3 Alberta Stakes. But one that I was going to mention a second ago that could run well is Velocio Jane Chapel Hines runner with Alan Kirby in the saddle. Won a listed race here over 7 after winning a maiden on debut. And it was very well supported that day. I think Oisin Murphy was in the saddle that day. So obviously they liked her as a 3-year-old. She only ran as a 3-year-old. She only had 4 runs last year. If she could come back, if Ebo River doesn't turn up, I think she could run well at a price. That brings us to the feature race. It is the Craven Stakes. It is basically Guineas or Derby trial. It's over a mile. We've got only 7 runners lined up here, but Native Trail, he is an absolute beast of a horse. Hopefully he came on over the winter. Charlie Appleby and William Buick couldn't be in better form. 4 from 4 last year, signed off an impeccable 2-year-old campaign with a super impressive Group 1 win in the Dewhurst here in October. And look, this horse opened. I was meant to do the preview last night, but it just got time run away at me. So this horse opened about 4-9, 2-5, and I thought that was an absolute steal, if that makes sense. He's 4-1 on now. Look, there's no value in him at 4-1 on, but I think he should get the job done and get the job done impressively here. One I hope that does give him a race is Star of India. From Aidan O'Brien's yard with Ryan Moore in the saddle, a called by Galileo, who's very impressive in debut in Leopardstown. Them Leopardstown maidens, they can be very, very good. So I'd be hoping he could give him a race, but I can't. Look, if something beats the Star Native Trail fair and square, it's going to be a very good performance, an exceptional performance, and they're going to go top of the betting in the classics. But for me, Native Trail, I think he'll get the job done impressively. We're down to 6 runners. Therefore, I am not going to go with an each-way selection in the race because I don't see the value really. But I would probably go Star of India in the bet without market. I just think he could be the one that should be a bit of a classic in the rest of them. He was super impressive in Leopardstown. I know it was only a maiden, but Aidan O'Brien, he's a bit of a maestro. He's a legend. That brings us To the penultimate race, then it is a novice stakes over mile 2. We have 2 winners up the top here, both owned by Godolphin, one by Charlie Appleby and one trained by John and Teddy Gosden. I'm going to go with Charlie Appleby's New London. I was very impressed with him that day. He actually won over the course and distance. So he gets my vote here. There's a few quid. He was second favourite. He's into favourite now. He's by the Bowie. I love these the Bowies. We can't say much more about William Buick and Charlie Appy at the minute. So New London here ticks all the boxes. One that could run well at the price is the Richard Hannon trained Mogadar by Olympic Glory. He's 14 to 1 at the minute. Shawnee Levy. They had combined to have a juvenile winner yesterday. And yeah, he has had one run. It was, I think, in Southwell, but I remember he ran very green that day. He actually he ran very green that day, and I think he'll come on an awful lot as Richards do. And I would be hoping £7 there he's getting off the winners. So I think he could run very, very well at the prices Modegar in the penultimate race. And that brings us to the finale. It is the handicap for 3-year-olds only. We over a mile. We've got 16 runners lined up here. Boys Sports again are paying an extra place in the race. They're going by 5 places. I'm sweeting one here each way. Switch stable since his last run. Ikatarik, probably pronouncing that totally wrong. Invincible Spirit Code was a £220,000 purchase over in the sales at the back end of last year from Owen Burrows, now with Sir Michael Stout, with Ryan Moore in the saddle. I think it was part of that Shadwell clear out, but he's had only 3 runs. He was second on his first 2 starts, and then he won on his last start. And I thought to get the job done the way he ran the last day, he still ran very green with the choke out. I thought there was plenty to come. Hopefully he wintered well over the winter. Switching to Sir Michael Stout's yard. A nice 3-year-old colt here, so I think he's about 15 to 2, 7 to 1 at the minute, and I expect him to be in the top 5 at least. So for me, those are my selections for drop me notes. Those are my selections for day 2 of the Craven meeting, including the Craven Stakes itself. Looking forward to some cracking racing again today. Again, guys, really appreciate the support yesterday. We had another profitable day. Hopefully we can kick on again. And hit the like, hit the subscribe, and I shall talk to you guys again very, very soon. Cheers, guys.